Just before we start this episode of the Top Corner podcast, I'd like to apologise for the fact that it is, well, as you can clearly tell from the length of time, it's a very short episode. The reason why we've had to make it a shorter episode is because yesterday we recorded it, we were live, doing a live stream, a couple of you were in there, and then halfway through the audio decided to go kaput. I sorted the issue out again and things were fine for a little bit before the audio went, and I think we started about 1 o'clock, and by 4 o'clock we'd still got nothing recorded, so we decided to just record an episode instead of doing it live. And then my storage is gone, and we had a couple of clashes with people in the studio beforehand, so we were running for time already before we'd started. So yeah, unfortunately it's a shorter one. As I said, the storage then went, so that means that the episode unfortunately cuts halfway through, but we didn't want to upload nothing, and we thought we might as well share the stuff that we recorded already with you guys. So hopefully you enjoy the episode, and of course we make an announcement straight away at the start of the episode, so do tell us what you do want to see on the channel. And as I said before, apologies that it is shorter. We didn't want to basically not upload what we'd made for you, so hopefully you enjoy it, and hopefully, fingers crossed, we'll be back to normal next week. Enjoy the podcast. Hello and welcome to the Top Corner podcast bite-sized edition. Unfortunately, we've had a few problems this week to be doing a full-length podcast. We've had a couple of mic issues, so we are doing a bite-sized edition of the show today. Coming up around the next half an hour, we've got an announcement to make. We've got some January transfers to talk through. We've got a couple of games from last week, and of course, we've got our weekly roundup as well. Lots to get through in the next couple of minutes. So without further ado, let's get through the intro, because we love the intro.
The best intro.
It's great, isn't it? I love it.
Show.
Here we go. Any moment now.
It's like
3, 2, 1, boom. We love it. So thank you very much for joining us on the Top Corner podcast bite-sized edition. As I said before, we've had a couple of problems with mic issues. So unfortunately, we've got no camera today, sadly. So it is just our voices. It's going to be a condensed show because we did go live, and it's taken us about an hour and a half, 2 hours to be able to actually produce something of decent quality. So it's going to be a pretty short one, unfortunately. But next week, fingers crossed, back to normal, and we'll have a full-length podcast. But we're going to go straight away into the first piece of news. It's not football-related, this. You might have seen on Twitter, we have announced that we are going to be doing something a little bit different with the channel. You might have noticed the name of the channel's changed as well. It's not just the Top Corner now, it's the Sports Corner. There's a lot of news to talk about in a short period of time. Rowan's very excited there.
Don't do it,
please not for YouTube. Don't do it. He usually screams into the microphone. But basically, the Sports Corner is not going to be just it's not just going to be football now. We're going to be doing NFL, MMA, F1, and things like that. WWE. So there's going to be regular content, new shows, new guests, a lot of new things on the channel. So it's not just football and Team of the Week predictions all the time. So on a Monday, we'll have Team of the Week and promotion predictions, which will stay as normal. But I'm going to try and get the three guys involved as well to put in their own predictions. And then on Tuesday, something new, we've got the wrestling podcast, which is going to be with Kieran and Rowan. Talk us through it.
Yeah, go on.
Yeah, us three are wrestling fans. Obviously, you're not Josh.
Unlucky Josh.
You're not Josh. You're not a wrestling fan. We are. We just wanted to do something where we can sort of show our interest and sort of a way to talk about it and try to get other people's views and opinions on it. So we don't know how we'll fully lay it out, but it's not. More than likely, we'll probably review AEW versus NXT. Then we'll go on to SmackDown, and then if it's a pay-per-view weekend, we'll review the pay-per-view.
Like next week, obviously, we've got the Royal Rumble, so that'll be a review of that. And then we'd review the Monday Night Raw as well. So yeah, I think it's just a way for all three of us just to talk about a bit of wrestling.
Because, lads, we're on the road to WrestleMania.
Yeah, so, and then obviously on Saturday, hopefully, if I can get it edited in time, there will be Royal Rumble predictions.
I don't think it'd take you that long to edit, to be honest.
No, I think it'd be pretty simple.
Just
we're going to do Royal... We're going to do Royal Rumble predictions.
The Sports Corner loves a prediction.
Yeah.
We do. We love a prediction.
So there's a lot of content to come in terms of the wrestling stuff. I said the podcast is, we're looking to do it on a Tuesday. We kind of got planned in our heads, but it might change over time depending on what happens. So on a Wednesday, exactly. On a Wednesday, we've got the Top Corner podcast. That is staying the exact same, apart from this week because everything's gone to pot. So that'll still be on 1:15 while 3:15. So for any of you that are here specifically for the football content, nothing changes. There's just going to be more shows for different sports. And we're going to get more guests in that. On a Thursday, we've got a brand new NFL podcast / show that's coming out. That's going to be with Kieran. Talk us through that.
That is going to be with me and more than likely a person you've never seen before, which is a man called Will, which is our friend.
Brand new guest.
He's been a fan of the NFL for a lot longer than I have, as I've only started this season. We may even have Rowan along, because Rowan loosely follows it, and he said you wanted to get more into it next season, didn't you, when the next season comes around. So we'll be here probably next week, because it's the Super Bowl weekend as of next Sunday. And we'll have talk about the draft season, which is coming up, whether you get the collegiate prospects, you've got free agent season. And we probably put it on a Thursday, because usually when the season comes back around, there is a Thursday night game every single week. And we can probably review and preview the games and stuff like that, see who's going to have a good season. And obviously, MVP of the week, which is going to be our new one, which may become from, maybe Joe Burrow is going to be, it's going to be hard during the collegiate process, but we'll try to figure something out. Lots of content to come in terms of NFL, so if you are an NFL fan, I do suggest, do subscribe to us, lots of different sports. And then on Friday, my favourite one for the name, it's called Sports Day. It's going to be very fun, this one. So basically, there's a lot of sports that us four like darts and things like that, that none of us else are really have an interest in. I was going to say, it's not a shared interest. It's like we all have our niche sports.
It's just a bringing together of different sports, really, that we're going to round up. And I think we should have AFTV have a ham roll of the week. Yes. I think we need something that's equivalent to a ham roll of the week.
MVP of the week.
It's going to be a steak
Is that just for NFL, though? The
MVP
steak
Tuesday of the week.
So we need something for Friday. We need something for Friday, which is for like every single sport. So we have a ham roll of the week.
A meal deal of the week.
Yeah, so like,
I think that's a good idea. That.
Egg and cressani of the week.
So that is Sports Day.
Beans at KFC of the week.
Oh my God.
One thing I would
KFC beans of the week.
One thing I would like to say with the Sports Day, there might be some weeks when there's like no darts or no tennis.
Or no F1 for example.
Yeah, like with me with F1.
F1 is it 2 week breaks sometimes?
Yes, it's either a double weekend then a break, or one race, double week break and race.
I can watch F1 if you want to talk about F1 with me. A few years ago I was really into F1.
I think it's a easy sport to get into once you think. Recommend watching the Netflix documentary Drive to Survive. It's what got me back into it. And with the rugby stuff as well, that's more or less every week with the Six Nations coming up as well. They'll probably, I'm going to try to do a couple more Six Nations reviews.
I think that's a good thing about the wrestling podcast is, let's be fair, that's a 365 days a year kind of process, whereas obviously football kind of has a season and then you have that off season. But obviously MMA, it's kind of similar. We don't really have an extended break for a long period of time. So
I think Sports Day will be fun. Everyone loves a good Sports Day.
We do like it. So there's a lot of content there on a Friday.
Spoon race
on the 31st of
that's still to come.
January.
That's still to come. Hold your horse. Hold the reins in for a second.
Roman reins him in.
Hold the reins. You thought you had a segue there.
The big dog's trying to come off its leash.
So that is Sports Day, which we're looking to do on a Friday. And then Saturday and Sunday, the studio that we're recording isn't open. So I'm going to try and get a bit of football content out there. So we'll do like match roundups and reports and things like that. So the content is constantly streaming. So if you can see on the screen right now, if you haven't already subscribed to the channel, you wouldn't be here watching it in the first place. So I do strongly suggest you do subscribe if you do like your NFL, WWE, MMA, so on and so forth.
Yeah, pretty much everything.
If you like any sport at all, subscribe. We will cover it at some point.
Put your requests in as well.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah,
I'd like to learn a lot of new sports.
If you don't like any sports, we can't help you. Sorry, just go.
Even snooker.
I love Big Ronnie O'Sullivan.
But don't go away if you don't like any sports, because if you like your gaming, then twitch.tv/the top corner.
Yes.
That's where all the gaming stuff's going to be. So if you're a FIFA fan, things like that, then I would strongly suggest twitch.tv/the top corner. That's where all the gameplay is going to be. The Team of the Week predictions will still stay on YouTube. It's doing quite well right now. And then Twitter is still @the_top corner. I'm going to try and get that sorted out, so it's the sports corner eventually.
I think in terms of streaming, it's just going to be you on the twitch.tv/top corner, isn't it?
For now.
However, I think that we all in the near future want to start streaming. Me, Rowan, and Kieran.
I think as we get further into the year, we probably will see separate streams.
Yeah.
Probably of different sports. Like I'm love playing a game called Stardew Valley. It's class. And I'll probably do an F1 stream.
So in terms of that, we will update you with our personal Twitch channels, which we will be streaming on if it ever comes to that.
Do you know what? You can pretty much call us the universe because we're constantly expanding.
Way,
No.
I like it.
I liked it.
I'll give you credit for that one.
Thank you.
And now going on to the thing that you were talking about.
That's my
Exactly.
astrology corner.
Unfortunately, not a segue, but on the 31st of January, we're going to be doing a very, very special live stream for Transfer Deadline Day.
How long is it?
It's going to be a very, very long stream.
14 hours?
10 a.m. while 8 p.m.
Just arrive at 10 a.m. Anyone? Does anyone? I'll order my breakfast in.
So basically, from 10 a.m. while 8 p.m. I don't know whether I'm going to be here or not for it, so I might be leaving you in the comfortable hands of Kieran and Rowan to do it.
Yes.
But from 10 a.m. while 8 p.m. They'll be live, looking through all the transfer deadline news, seeing any stories, any breaking news. Hopefully, it's a good transfer dedeadline day. A lot of clubs right now trying to desperately search for a striker, but usually deadline day is depressing, isn't it? Especially when it's January.
But even if it is depressing on deadline day, we will fill your day
with happiness
and laughs.
Do you know when it all went downhill? The moment the reporters weren't allowed to stand outside, and you'd get the random man turn up with
they killed it.
An object of some sort and put it in.
But we all. The good thing is that me, Rowan, and Kieran, we all support a club in a different league, so we can get updates from certain leagues.
Exactly. Yeah, I like that.
We all support a team in a different league.
Yeah.
So we'll keep you up to date with European transfers.
Yeah, we do.
Oh my god, that's mental.
EFL transfers and any news basically, and that's 10 a.m. while 8 p.m. If I am here, which as I said I don't know until quite late on, what will happen is we'll be live 10 a.m. while 8 p.m. as normal, but then I'll take the mantle from 8:30 right until very late at night. It could be 12 a.m. 1 a.m. to do the graveyard shift. However, to see if any deals happen very, very late on.
Stay tuned to the Twitter page because that's where most of the announcements and breaking news
I would love to stay tuned to the Twitter. I would absolutely love.
Where would you find the Twitter, Josh?
It's at the _ top corner. You can see there's.
Would you like to repeat?
There's a link right now. It's at the _ top corner.
And what was the Twitch again?
The Twitch is twitch.tv/the top corner, and the YouTube they're on it right now. So they
make sure you subscribe.
Give us a like and subscribe because it helps.
So without further ado, we're 10 minutes in already.
So
we've done pretty good so far. We're going to go straight into the first section. We're going to do things very briefly today. As I said, we've had quite a lot of audio problems. That has been a real nightmare to get things done. So the January transfer window, of course, as we said, is open. There's only 9 days remaining. We're just going to very quickly talk you through some of the deals that have happened over the last couple of days. So Chicharito, he's moved from Sevilla to LA Galaxy in a €9 million deal. He's become the highest paid player in the MLS, of course. Zlatan Ibrahimovic, leaving LA Galaxy last season, he takes the mantle of the marquee striker role. Nabil Bentaleb, he's joined Newcastle on loan from Schalke. That includes an option to buy the midfielder. Karl Toko Ekambi, he's moved out on loan to Olympique Lyon. There's a lot of loan deals, I've got to say. That's a €4 million loan deal. He also has an option to buy in the deal itself. Duvan Zapata, he's joined Atalanta permanently from Sampdoria. It originally was a 2-year loan deal. He's now joined the club for €12 million. Roberto, the goalkeeper at West Ham, he struggled quite severely and in the Premier League. He's moved to Alaves on loan for the rest of the season. I don't think there's an option to buy in there, which I think is absolutely mental.
In terms of loan deals, there's a lot changing now. I think clubs are starting to see that we don't want to risk 10, 15 million, especially clubs like Atalanta or Lyon don't want to risk 10, 15 million on players that they aren't going to get the money back on eventually.
Everything's more expensive in January. Always, politely, it's what you call the panic window where everyone kind of goes, oh God. Like, for example, I could say Villa are kind of in probably panic mode now. And they may end up overpaying for certain players that aren't put to the.
So they just recently signed Samata, did Villa, didn't they? Was it how much did they sign for? Was it
€10 million? Yeah. He doesn't even have a work permit.
He doesn't have a work permit yet, so that means he can't actually play yet.
Doesn't he play for Tanzania?
He does.
I'm not sure, but he's obviously come from Genk, the Belgium league. I know this isn't on here, but I just wanted to touch on it to see what you guys thought. Do you think he's a?
Well, Wesley's turned out okay.
Has he?
Exactly. That's my point.
Do you think? Do you think that eventually, when Wesley comes back, it will be Wesley and Samata, or Wesley or Samata?
I think it'll be Wesley and.
But they don't play two up front though. They play one up front.
They'll probably. I think they change it.
I just think it all depends if Jack Grealish leaves.
I don't think it will be Wesley or Samata. I think Wesley will leave out the door because they'll get relegated.
Yes, there's a lot of players.
There's a lot on the mind.
There's a lot of players at Villa that I feel like will leave if they do get relegated. You think they will get relegated?
I'm worried they will. I think it's very similar to Fulham. They've spent a lot of money and it's a very, very severe risk.
You think of the players they've got? They've got Trezeguet, Douglas Luiz,
Tyrone Mings is probably on hefty wage. Jack Grealish is going to leave if they go down.
I think John McGinn would leave.
John McGinn.
Danny Drinkwater's on a hefty wage and he's crap.
He's on probably more than John McGinn and Jack Grealish.
£110,000 a week. He's probably on more than they are put together.
Pepe Reina's only on loan, so we'll go back.
Oh, yes.
Tom Heaton, he'll leave. Who else are there? Who's up front that I'm missing?
You've said him.
Wesley
Samatta.
They lost Hodge.
I don't think they won't lose Samatta.
Yeah, I'm just listing the strikers. Well, the forwards.
But yeah, a little detour into Aston Villa there.
But yeah, I think there's a real worry there for Aston Villa.
I'd like to break some breaking news. Graham Dorrans has signed a contract extension with Dundee. Does anyone remember Graham Dorrans?
West Brom.
Throwback,
West Brom. Graham Dorrans, James Morrison in the centre of midfield.
Crazy.
Zoltan Gera on the wing.
Yes.
And finally, this isn't really in terms of transfer news. This is more down to a player you might know from the past who's retired. Stefano Sorrentino is the former Juventus, Palermo, Chievo Verona goalkeeper. Announced in the last couple of days he's retired at the age of 40. He's been known for some of his impressive displays in recent years. Of course, he played a fantastic game quite recently against Juventus, where he made a whole host of incredible saves. He's announced his retirement. His contract was rescinded at Chievo Verona after they were relegated down to the Serie B.
Was that too much money, or did they not just want? Did they just not want him?
I don't know, to be honest.
Who is sorry, who did he get released from?
Chievo Verona.
Who is their goalkeeper?
I'm not
Sorrentino.
I don't know because
not Sorrentino, obviously, but I'm just saying, is he better than Sorrentino? Because I thought Sorrentino quite decent.
Sorrentino was very good.
They probably want with someone younger who won't require as much wages because they're in Serie B now.
Are they?
Yeah, they're in Serie B.
Chievo get relegated.
They got relegated, which is why they
Jesus.
dropped him on his contract. But he's retired at the age of 40. I think he was very, very impressive for his age.
Retirement.
Is that where Jacquerini is?
Oh,
yes,
Christ,
it is.
I remember him.
You are correct. That is where Jacquerini is.
Jacquerini.
So we're going to go on to this week's fixtures results. As I said, because it's a short one today, it's going to be very brief. I'll talk you through some of the predictions, of course, we made on last week's episode. So Schalke beat Gladbach 2-0. Gregoritsch, you might know him from Augsburg, he made his debut and, well, had a very, very impressive debut for the club. He got a goal and an assist in that match. First of all, it was Serda who scored the first goal in the 48th minute before the Austrian made a break to score 10 minutes later, tapping in from Benito Rahman's assist. Schalke staying fifth with the other results in the league going against them, while Gladbach have dropped to third because of Bayern's victory against Hertha Berlin. So in terms of the predictions we made for that game, of course the game did end Schalke 2, Gladbach 0. Kieran Lawler predicted 2-1 to Gladbach. Kieran D predicted 1-1. Rowan predicted 4-1 to Gladbach. Close. And I predicted 2-0 to Gladbach, so nobody gets any points this week.
This week, I'm unfortunately.
Gladbach. Good league this year, isn't it?
It is
very good league.
The problem is that a team like Gladbach can't afford to drop points just because it's so close.
It's a bit like Leicester, isn't it? When they won the league.
It's a very, very
I mean, if Leipzig win, it'll be a shock.
I don't think it'd be as much as a shock if Gladbach.
Really?
Yeah.
I'll tell you what.
Because Leipzig have got a really good team.
You need to give plaudits. But they haven't spent as much money as Leipzig have. But to be fair, I think Mönchengladbach's manager needs a lot of credit for what he's managed to put together because he's going to win with the defence of Ben Sabini, Ginter.
Who's been incredible this year.
These aren't players.
Ginter has been rejected by Borussia Dortmund.
Yeah, this is the thing. These are players when you look at it from the outside that you wouldn't really think of top players like Alassane Plia, Marcus Thuram.
They've obviously got Breland Bolo, who's been questioned with his performances and stuff.
He was unfortunate because he moved to Schalke and then get injured. He had really good start and then he got injured and was out for the whole season.
Yeah, it was very unfortunate there for him. So no points on the board.
He's always been that player that's supposed to be
the next big thing.
To be fair, though, they've got quite young as well because they've got Dennis Zakaria as well.
Yeah, they've got
good quality midfielder.
Dennis Zakaria is really, really good. He's really
very good team. Very good team. We move over to Spain now. We've got Real Madrid against Sevilla. Of course, we predicted this game. Someone did, in fact, get it right this week. It ended Real Madrid 2, Sevilla 1. Casemiro was the unlikely hero for Real Madrid as the home side were able to clinch all 3 points in a lively game against their former manager, Julian Lopetegui, and his Sevilla side. Luka Jovic was an incredible backheel assist from him, which allowed Casemiro to be able to break Sevilla's resistance after 57 minutes. Luke de Jong, who actually had a goal which was denied in the first half by VAR, got an equaliser in the second half in, 7 minutes after Casemiro's opener, before Casemiro then, 5 minutes later, scored the winner. So safe to say Casemiro had a pretty good game there.
Do you think Luka Jovic is tides are turning? I know this whole thing of Zidane doesn't like him, don't want him, but he's clearly shown faith by starting him. And if he's had a performance where he's got an assist, surely that.
Who else starts up front for Real Madrid?
Benzema.
Is Benzema injured, or anything? Is anything wrong?
Well, the thing is, they've still got Mariano as well. who they brought back from Lyon.
Interesting with Mariano, he's been linked with Leeds.
Yeah, they're desperately trying to get rid of him.
Do you know what the thing is? Zidane don't like him either.
They're desperately trying to get rid of Mariano.
In terms of Luka Jovic, I don't think he will be at Real Madrid much longer because you said Zidane doesn't like him, and I think he's just better than. He shouldn't be on the bench. He should be starting for a club.
I don't like Zidane. So
I don't like Zidane either. I don't like Zidane either.
Something that came out today was I think it's Bale's agent was like a loan deal is preposterous.
Yeah.
Do you agree? Like
for Bale?
Bale going out.
No
on
one
loan.
can afford that 6 months. For example, even for 6 months, his wage is like 300 and odd grand a week.
I mean, Man United could afford it. I don't think.
Oh my God.
I think Bale wants to go, so I think he will.
Yeah, his agent Jonathan Barnett said he's one of the best players on the earth. Why on earth would he go somewhere on loan? That's ridiculous.
I think. Do you know what's crazy? Danny Drinkwater's only on a third of Gareth Bale's wage, but he's not a third of the player.
He's awful.
Very, very true. Very, very true.
Well, isn't Mesut Ozil on more than?
Mesut Ozil's on like 350
grand, yes.
He's on more than Bale.
But
I don't
maybe
think
not
so.
Quite,
but back to the game. Casemiro's obviously putting a man-of-match performance, getting 2 goals. And unlikely hero, really, wasn't it?
It was very unlikely hero. I don't think anyone expected him to score 2.
When you think of Real Madrid, you don't think, that defensive midfielder, he's going to pop up with a few goals today.
Though, he does get a lot of goals, doesn't he?
He
does get quite a lot of goals.
Does anybody remember the goal he scored against the Champions League? Was it Porto, I think?
Where he scored from about 40 yards out. Just incredible.
Like one of the goals of the Champions League season.
Unbelievable.
Just a quick point.
Go on.
If someone was to take Bale on loan, I've just calculated it would cost them 9.6 million for a 6-month loan deal.
Ouch.
I mean, let's be honest. Ed Woodward would pay that.
There's only probably.
Are you joking? He can't even play for Bruno Fernandes.
There's probably only like 2 teams who'd be willing
Jude
to do
Bellingham,
that.
he's alright paying 30 million for him.
Both Manchester teams would be willing to do it.
I think Chelsea. I think Chelsea would also be willing to do that.
I don't think Bale's got the stock for a Man City now.
But City don't need him, and I think they can finally agree.
I think the rumours have been that, not the rumours, but everyone. The moment every time Gareth Bale becomes available, it's United and Tottenham. They're the 2 teams.
Tottenham. I don't think he.
The prodigal son returns.
Who knows?
Is Nico Kranjčar coming
Who knows? So Real Madrid, they're now 17 matches unbeaten in all competitions, and they stay second because Barcelona got a late winner against Granada courtesy of Messi. Sevilla stay 4th. They can be very thankful of Eibar, who beat Atletico Madrid 2-0, so they've still got hopes of climbing into the top 3. In terms of our predictions, of course, the game ended Real Madrid 2, Sevilla 1. Kevin Lawley predicted 4-0 for Real Madrid. Kim D, you got it spot on. 2-1 Real Madrid, so he gets the first point of our predictions. Rowan predicted 5-3 Real Madrid. Close again. And I predicted 3-2.
I should have about 90 points. I remember I predicted both the Man United games right when they beat Tottenham and Man City. And I predicted the Man City and Arsenal game.
I don't have any respect for you. I respect Rowan for going for 7-0 in every single game because you play it far too safe.
Well, you don't respect me for getting it right.
No, this isn't the aim of the game. You don't win.
You've got to wait for the predictions later because I tell you what, Rowan's gone absolutely all out with his predictions.
1-0 every game.
Crazy, absolutely crazy. We go down to the Premier League now. Of course, Liverpool played Manchester United, and Liverpool just don't drop points at all. Their dominant run has continued after goals from Virgil van Dijk, a late goal from Salah as well, helped to extend their lead at the top of the Premier League to 13 points with 2 games in hand because they've still got to play West Ham as well for the game that they didn't play because of the Club World Cup.
And obviously Man City dropped points again at the weekend to Crystal Palace,
who
seems to be their bogey team.
It's crazy, isn't it?
Fernandinho putting through his own net in 90th minute.
They've not lost in their last 4 meetings as Crystal Palace.
That is it's unbelievable, isn't it?
I know it was obviously 2-2, 3-2 to Palace last year, 0-0, and then obviously the City must not beat them the year before.
It's the bogey team, isn't it?
As I was saying on the weekend, they all say Pep Guardiola's had an influence to talk about Roy Hodgson. He's had quite the influence.
I just think that what is it about Crystal Palace? They're such a boring football team.
No, I think it's Roy Hodgson. Genuinely, I think he just not out tactics Guardiola, but it's almost like it's their kryptonite. Do you know what I mean? They almost. Drew a few years back, but Milivojevic missed his first penalty ever in the Premier League.
I mean, they almost beat him. That was the 0-0.
Yeah, was it the 0-0? Sorry, right.
Yeah, they almost beat him. Milivojevic.
It's something when they come up against Palace that they just.
I don't know what it is because when you see Palace got absolutely dominated by Southampton yesterday. Southampton could have been 3 or 4-0 up.
Yeah, it's the power of Cenk Tosun, really.
So, in terms of the Manchester United game, there was a couple of chances that Man U had that let's say it didn't go well, did it? Andres Pereira missed an absolute sitter. There was a couple of chances as well from Fred and Martial, but of course Liverpool, they stayed strong. They could have had their fair share of goals as well. Of course, as you said before, when we recorded it earlier, Wijnaldum, he had a goal disallowed. Firmino had one as well from the Van Dijk incident. Very quick question. Should have that been disallowed?
No, it shouldn't have been disallowed.
No.
It was never a foul. But in my opinion, I think Andreas Pereira's got a fake Brazilian passport. He is not Brazilian. There's no flair in his game.
No.
But he is awful. I don't like him.
Yeah. Did you see the tweet somebody put about Kaká rolling in his grave or something?
No.
He's not even
Somebody
dead.
put a tweet out. He's not even dead, and somebody put Kaká rolling in his grave watching this Andreas Pereira performance.
Literally.
Didn't someone to reply? He said he's not dead yet, and he went, "No, I've heard he just packed it in after watching Andreas Pereira."
No, but it just is like I rated him a few years ago, like when he was going out online. I'm like, give him a chance. He's giving him a chance. No, I don't want him anywhere near the.
Crazy.
No,
I want Lingard to play. That's how bad it's got. I want Jesse Lingard to play.
So you know Rashford's like more or less out till the final couple of games of the season.
He's going to be out for the rest of the season.
I think didn't he tweet like blah 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 back for the final games.
He is going to be out for the rest of the season, I think, because I don't think they'll rush him
I think first of all that throws England's Euro because you're going to have
obviously injured as well.
You're not going to have a proper match fit Rashford.
No.
But we United, what do they need to do? Who do they sign?
They need to go sign a left winger. I don't know why everyone's gassing about signing another striker.
Who though?
Yeah, I don't know.
Bale. I mean, Bale probably could play there. Rodrigo?
No.
I'm trying to think just Madrid players.
If we were to sign a striker, I want it to be Timo Werner. If we were to sign one, but again, like you said to me earlier, Kieran, why would Timo Werner leave Leipzig to go to Man United?
The top of the Bundesliga.
Exactly.
Cavani.
It just depends if someone pays that alleged €45 million release clause.
My problem is with United at the moment, when other teams that you're talking about signing these players from are going in one direction, you're at the moment going in the complete other direction.
Yeah, I agree, but the thing is, somehow we're still fifth in the league.
And
we're somehow still only 6 points behind Chelsea. Obviously, it could be 3 tonight.
This is the thing. I don't think that's down to you. I genuinely think that's down to the rest of the league.
Like we were saying, weren't we? It's been Liverpool have been incredible this year, and I'm not taking anything away from them. But the rest of the league's been poor. Like you said, didn't you? Second down to 20 has been absolutely awful this year.
Rowan made a point. Would you take Cavani as a short-term option?
Look how well it worked for you with Ibra, taking someone who's a bit older.
Because I was checking Cavani's stats the other day. Last season he played 21 games, got 18 goals.
He's PSG's all-time top goal scorer.
He guarantees goals wherever he goes.
The way that basically the PSG owners said, we did have an offer from Atletico Madrid for Cavani. We didn't find it suitable enough in terms of a fee. But they will work to Cavani's to what Cavani wants.
I think it's been leaked to the press that it's 20 million euros they want him, which is about 15.
It's about 15 million pounds.
Not bad.
He's 32 though.
How much did you pay for Zlatan?
We didn't. We
got
him on free.
Mental.
He came on a free.
But in terms of a short-term option, I think
I would take him. I don't want Piatek like everyone's saying. I just don't think there's no need to risk 35 million on Christoph Piatek, but you won't get 35 million back for. If we're going to loan to buy him, I'd take the loan to buy. I don't want to just pay 35 million up front for him.
Would you take Paco Alcacer?
No.
Obviously, Dortmund have said themselves.
I
very likely Alcacer is going to leave. They're looking for about 35 million euros
That's
as
too
well.
Much.
Do you think?
I do agree. I do think that is too much for what they want. I think they've got to be looking at around that 15 to 20 odd million mark.
However, if we get Bruno Fernandes over the line, there's been another leak to the press today that apparently he wants to leave. He's now come out and said that he wants to leave.
You've seen like the social media activity. They removed it. They
removed him from his header.
They removed him from the header. I do love that he was supposed to play his final game against, was it Benfica?
Yeah, and he played last night.
And then he played last night.
And apparently he was really bad.
Like, do you think
he doesn't?
But will it come
He
through?
definitely doesn't want to be there.
Because we've been hearing this for nearly 2 weeks, a week.
It is like last week I was saying I think this is going to be done by Monday,
and then
a leak came out saying that Sporting now want more money. I think with Man United they can't get transfers over the line because it comes out it's like, oh, it's Man United. We'll add 10 million onto this player's price because they know we're donkeys and we'll pay whatever we want.
I don't know if that's you. I know Leicester did it to you. Leicester played you like an absolute fiddle, but
I don't think 80 million for Harry Maguire.
No, I'm just saying. I remember originally they were talking about 50 million, and by the end of the transfer window, we were up to 80.
I think that's more because Man City were interested
but
as well.
I think that might be also a Sporting Lisbon thing. I think they realise what they've got on their hand. They've got hot problems.
They do.
And because he signed a new contract, they have him.
However, go on. What were you saying? Sorry, I'll let you finish.
They have him for as long as they want. They don't have to rush into selling him because he's going to be out of contract next summer.
Thing is, I still think that 55 million euros is good for him though.
Yeah, no.
Which is about what does that equate to 55 million euros? Is that about 48 million?
Yeah, I'd say about 48, 47.
Yeah, there's plus 15 million euros in add-ons, which is you're talking about 60 million for a player that's going to be a mainstay in the
depends
team.
What the add-ons
We need the add-ons. One of the add-ons is if he wins the Ballon d'Or.
They always had it for everyone. I swear, for most of the players, they always had, if he wins the Ballon d'Or.
No, yeah, it's because like
Rodriguez, if he wins the Ballon d'Or.
I'm just saying, do you know, like, this is a football podcast, but I know a guy in the NFL, he had a bonus in his contract that if he got a certain amount of sacks, he'd get an extra $1 million.
All right.
He went out and he got them extra sacks because he wanted that $1 million.
I feel like we've talked about Man United enough.
I mean, that's going to be a transfer saga that stumbles on, I think, right to the wire, in my opinion.
So tuning to deadline day.
I saw also today that it's supposed to be done by today.
Yeah, no.
Who knows? It's all loads of different sources. I mean, I've just seen a source now saying about Chelsea are potentially looking at selling Kepa as a Balaga.
Wow.
Working on potential replacements.
He is off.
This is from Dean Jones. They're looking at Nick Pope to potentially come in.
Who said that?
This is Dean Jones of Bleacher Report. He says, I'm told Chelsea continue to wait the idea of selling Kepa in the summer. Scouts working on potential replacements.
He was
Nick Pope mentioned at early stage won't affect other transfer plans as they'll use the cash from the Kepa sale.
I do not see him leaving. He is a good goalkeeper, believe it or not. He's still young. He's only 24, 23.
It's a weird one.
If Nick Pope goes, that's big for First of all, Pope, I think. But I think he'll play well. You've seen what Lampard's done with the other young English talent. I think he...
Pope's not young, you know.
How old's he?
28, isn't it?
That's young for a goalkeeper.
For a goalkeeper,
I thought you meant like young Kepa young.
Because you think goalkeepers play till they're 40 in terms
Pope's
of
27.
I thought he was younger than that.
No,
he's just got a young face.
Because he's only broke because he was behind Heaton, wasn't he? And then when Heaton got injured, he came in and everyone thought, who's this guy? Because we've never heard of him. It's because he was only 20. He was only he just waited so long to get his opportunity. But for me, is Nick Pope an improvement on Kepa? No. Will Nick Pope ever get better than Kepa's potential? No. So I don't really understand. I don't think that's true.
Apparently Moussa Dembele has come out and said he's staying put, not going away from Lyon.
No.
Just there you go. We obviously mentioned Soko Akambi earlier. He's now gone to Lyon on loan. Moussa Dembele's come out and said he's not leaving Lyon.
Fair enough.
Interesting one. And then we can move over to Italy, of course. Juventus played Parma. It ended Juventus 2, Parma 1. Cristiano Ronaldo's back to hitting his best in Italy as he gave the side all 3 points, with the Portuguese forward scoring his 12th goal in Juventus' last 10 games in all competition. He's really firing on all cylinders now. His first goal was curled in from just inside the box, but with an unfortunate deflection, of course, it gave Juventus that opening goal. Andreas Cornelius, the tall Danish striker, equalised with a header from a corner before Ronaldo scored the winner 3 minutes later. It was a simple tap-in after some well-worked passing with Dybala, who's having a fantastic season. Inter Milan dropped points again, which now means Juventus have a 4-point gap, while Parma stay 7th, 2 points from the European spots. In terms of our predictions for this game, it did end Juventus 2, Parma 1. It was Kieran Lawler said 4-0 to Juventus, close enough. Kimmy D said 2-0 to Juventus.
That was actually close enough.
Roman said 1-0 to Parma, not bad.
Close.
And I said 1-1 for that game, so close enough on that one as well. But yeah, overall, that is the week's fixtures results.
I was going to say, we talk about Juventus like playing well, but only getting a 2-1 win over Parma.
I mean, a win's a win.
I know, a win's a win,
obviously
but Parma are doing well, but only a 2-1 win over Parma.
Do you remember that Parma have beat them twice in the last 4 games against Juventus?
To be fair, I agree with you to a certain extent that I don't think Juve have hit their stride yet.
Look at the team they've got. They should be winning They should be doing a Liverpool. If you look at the team.
Parma aren't the easiest of sides, as I said.
They've got Neymar.
2 of their last 4 games, they've got a result against Juventus.